Criterion 1.3, Occupational Health, Safety and Security, total 70 points. This subcriterion focuses on the importance of ensuring employee well-being, security, and a culture of safety throughout the workforce by adopting a comprehensive approach to occupational health, safety, and security. It places special emphasis on the participating company's commitment to create a safe and healthy workplace environment that safeguards employee health and physical well-being. Implement robust OHS systems, policies, and procedures to effectively manage risks and adhere to safety standards. Foster an OHS culture and instill a safety-conscious mindset among employees. Ensure the availability and appropriateness of modern OHS equipment, tools, and equipment. And implement safety and security measures in both the workplace and employee housing. The subcriterion may include the following interrelated elements. 1.3.1 Physical Well-being, 15 points. 1.3.2 OHS Policy and Systems, 15 points. 1.3.3 OHS Culture and Awareness Training, 15 points. 1.3.4 OHS Equipment and Tools, 15 points. 1.3.5 Housing and Workplace Safety and Security, 10 points. Let's explore each subcriteria element in detail. 1.3.1 Physical Well-being, 15 points. This award element addresses the need for participating companies to invest their efforts and resources in implementing measures that promote employee physical well-being, thereby contributing to heightened morale, increased productivity, enhanced employee retention, and cost reduction. Promoting workforce physical well-being can be achieved through measures such as providing comprehensive health insurance, implementing wellness programs, offering on-site medical services, encouraging preventative care and early intervention, etc. The key focus areas under this subcriteria element that shall be considered when developing the Taqdeer Award submission, based on each participating company's actual systems and practices, may include, but are not limited to: comply with relevant healthcare regulations and laws to ensure the overall health and welfare of the workforce. Maintain records, monitor staff with chronic illnesses, and identify high-risk groups. Provide employees with free adequate medical insurance, covering all categories of the workforce. Health benefits may include medical tests, medications, injections, vaccination, outpatient and inpatient healthcare services, etc. It is also important to share information and offer support to employees in accessing healthcare services. Some companies include this information in their employee handbook and guidelines or during the induction program. During the site visit, assessors may wish to see the medical insurance coverage for different levels of the workforce and especially the elementary occupations and frontline employees. Companies may also offer access to telemedicine services and establish partnerships with nearby healthcare providers for on-site medical clinics or first aid rooms, making medical care more convenient. Create specific areas for isolation or quarantine. Promote preventative care, early intervention, and implement wellness programs throughout the organization. Provide sick leave, accident leave, and treatment for work-related injury or illnesses. Cover expenses related to death, including body repatriation to the home country as per the labor law and regulations. Some award-winning companies go above and beyond basic laws and regulations to provide special support for employees facing challenges due to unfortunate events like illness, such as cancer or disability. To better prepare for the Taqdeer Award submission and assessment, companies also try to keep in mind the key elements that the assessors might look for in each subcriteria element. For this subcriteria element, assessors might be looking for: employee medical file, list of high-risk groups, corporate group medical insurance, health benefits and coverage, support provided to employee on how to access healthcare services, on-site medical facility, first aid room, telemedicine, isolation or quarantine facilities and protocol, health checks, wellness program, awareness campaigns on disease prevention, sick leave, accident leave, work-related injury, etc. Assessors might ask many questions like: what types of on-site healthcare facilities, medical personnel, and medical services are provided, and what are their hours of operation and availability? How do you communicate and support employees in reporting illness or injury and accessing healthcare services? Or, what types of preventative care, early intervention, and wellness programs are in place? Depending on the industry, your corporate strategy, and business priorities, each company may adopt unique policies, systems, and business practices to address this focus area. Therefore, you should choose the most relevant documented evidence to support your award submission. 1.3.2 OHS Policy and Systems, 15 points. This award element addresses the need for participating companies to develop, implement, and maintain effective occupational health and safety (OHS) policies and systems in line with international standards, national regulations, and the scope and context of their operations. A robust OHS policy and system lays the foundation for a safe and healthy work environment, outlining guidelines and procedures for identifying, assessing, and mitigating potential risks. The key focus areas under this sub-criteria element that shall be considered when developing the Taqdeer award submission, based on each participating company's actual systems and practices, may include, but are not limited to: develop, approve, deploy, and periodically update policies, procedures, systems, instructions, and guidelines related to occupational health and safety at job sites. Utilize international standards, best practices, and local regulations to ensure compliance with relevant occupational health and safety policies. For example, the ISO 45001 Occupational Health and Safety Management System and the UAE OHSMS National Standard. Assign roles and responsibilities within the OHS management system to facilitate incident reporting, investigation, and corrective actions, further enhancing workplace safety. Ensure that potential hazards and threats are identified, conduct risk assessments, and implement necessary controls to mitigate risk and its impact, ensuring a hazard, accident, and injury-free work environment. Develop and implement corporate emergency crisis and disaster management to identify potential risks and implement measures to mitigate the impact of unexpected events on businesses and employees. To better prepare for the Taqdeer award submission and assessment, companies shall also try to keep in mind the key elements that the assessors might look for in each sub-criteria element. For this sub-criteria element, assessors might be looking for OSH policy, procedures, guidelines, and system development and implementation. OSH management standards and certification, e.g. ISO 45001, OSAS 18001, OHSMS, ILO OSH guidelines. Efforts to ensure virus, hazard, accident and injury-free environment, and maintain accurate records of OHS policies, procedures, and incidents. Assessors might ask many questions like: how evident are your occupational health and safety practices implemented throughout the organization to ensure a hazard accident and injury-free work environment? How do you identify potential risks and implement measures to mitigate the impact of unexpected events and crises? Or, how do you ensure the timely execution of corrective actions? Depending on the industry, your corporate strategy, and business priorities, each company may adopt unique policies, systems, and business practices to address this focus area. Therefore, you should choose the most relevant documented evidence to support your award submission. 1.3.3 OHS Culture and Awareness Training, 15 points. This award element addresses the need for participating companies to foster a strong OHS culture and ensure that employees are well prepared to contribute to a safer and healthier workplace. Spread awareness of safety issues in the work environment and ensure that employees are aware of potential hazards, equipping them with the knowledge and skills to safeguard themselves and their colleagues. Training employees to avoid hazards and accidents, and conducting regular drills to ensure employees know how to respond in case of emergencies. The key focus areas under this sub-criteria element that shall be considered when developing the Taqdeer award submission, based on each participating company's actual systems and practices, may include, but are not limited to: periodically assess the organization's safety culture to identify areas for improvement. Recognize and incentivize safe practices and the reporting of hazards. Promote regular communication about OHS, including safety meetings, toolbox briefings, newsletters, and posters. Assess and determine the OHS training required for different roles and tasks and develop tailored training programs and materials in multiple languages relevant to the workforce. Ensure regular training updates that reflect changes in policy, regulations, technology, and workplace conditions. Conduct regular occupational health and safety training and awareness sessions for all workforce categories, covering important subjects such as hygiene practices, handling biological and chemical hazards, and working at heights or in confined spaces, excavation, concrete works, and dealing with manufacturing or construction equipment and lifting gears, etc. Utilize interactive methods such as simulations, workshops, and hands-on training to engage employees. Conduct emergency response training and drills to prepare employees for various crisis scenarios. Monitor, track, and maintain accurate records of OHS training, awareness sessions, and drills. To better prepare for the Taqdeer Award submission and assessment, companies shall also try to keep in mind the key elements that the assessors might look for in each subcriteria element. For this subcriteria element, assessors might be looking for OHS awareness and communication, recognition and incentives for safe practice and hazards reporting, OHS training needs, programs and material development and update, key topics covered in OHS training and awareness, regular OHS training sessions, emergency response training and drills, etc. In addition, assessors might ask many questions like: how do you ensure regular OHS communication and updates are carried out throughout the workforce? What are the methods used to deliver OHS culture and awareness training? How do you conduct emergency response training and drills to prepare employees for various crisis scenarios? Depending on the industry, your corporate strategy, and business priorities, each company may adopt unique policies, systems, and business practices to address this focus area. Therefore, you should choose the most relevant documented evidence to support your award submission. 1.3.4 OHS Equipment and Tools, 15 points. This award element addresses the need for participating companies to provide occupational health and safety, OHS, equipment and tools to ensure workplace safety, employee well-being, enhanced productivity, and overall operational efficiency. OHS equipment and tools serve as frontline defenders against workplace hazards, potential accidents, injuries, and occupational health risks. They not only ensure legal compliance but also offer a tangible means of risk mitigation, improved productivity, and cost reduction. The key focus areas under this subcriteria element that shall be considered when developing the Taqdeer Award submission, based on each participating company's actual systems and practices, may include, but are not limited to: regular and diligent workplace hazard assessments to identify the types of OHS equipment and tools needed. Ensure employees have access to appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, including helmets, gloves, safety goggles, boots, earplugs, and respiratory protection, etc. Procure and maintain high-quality OHS equipment and tools that meet industry standards and regulations, e.g. ropes, chains, ladders, scaffolds, protection screen, etc. Choose ergonomic tools to minimize strain and reduce the risk of musculoskeletal disorders. Regularly inspect and maintain equipment and tools to ensure they remain in good working condition. Promptly replace any damaged or faulty equipment, tools, or PPE to prevent safety risks. Provide easily accessible emergency response equipment, such as fire extinguishers, first aid kits, and eye wash stations, etc. Clearly label equipment and tools with usage instructions and emergency contact information and store it securely. Assess suppliers of OHS equipment for reliability, quality, and compliance with safety standards. Maintain detailed records of equipment inspections, maintenance, and OHS employee training. Conduct regular audits and inspections and encourage employees to report any damaged or malfunctioning equipment or tools. Continually enhance OHS equipment and tool selection and usage based on lessons learned and technological advancements. To better prepare for the Taqdeer Award submission and assessment, companies shall also try to keep in mind the key elements that the assessors might look for in each subcriteria element. For this subcriteria element, assessors might be looking for OHS equipment and tools need identification, OHS equipment and tools procurement and maintenance, accessible emergency response equipment, usage instructions and emergency contact info, OHS equipment and tools label, usage instructions, and storage, new and high-tech OHS equipment and tools adaptation, etc. In addition, assessors might ask many questions like: how do you identify the need for OHS equipment and tools? Which types of PPE are provided by the company? Or, which types of emergency response equipment are provided? And, who is responsible for the regular audits and inspections of OHS equipment and tools? Depending on the industry, your corporate strategy, and business priorities, each company may adopt unique policies, systems, and business practices to address this focus area. Therefore, you should choose the most relevant documented evidence to support your award submission. 1.3.5 Housing and Workplace Safety and Security, 10 points. This award element addresses the need for participating companies to provide a safe and secure living and work environment that prioritizes the safety and well-being of employees. Ensuring the security of employees at their housing and workplaces is paramount for their physical and psychological well-being, ultimately leading to a more productive, engaged, and loyal workforce. The key focus areas under this subcriteria element that shall be considered when developing the Taqdeer Award submission, based on each participating company's actual systems and practices, may include, but are not limited to: develop, implement, review, and update security policies, procedures, and guidelines. Conduct thorough risk assessments at both the workplace and housing facilities to identify potential security vulnerabilities. Take proactive security measures to protect staff, property, and assets and help prevent accidents, theft, and vandalism while reducing related costs. Implement access control measures such as access cards, biometrics, security personnel, etc. To restrict entry to authorized personnel only. Install security cameras and monitoring systems to deter criminal activity and provide evidence in case of incidents. Provide good lighting in the workplace and housing facilities, especially in parking lots and walkways. Employ trained and licensed security personnel or contract security services. Install alarm systems to quickly notify employees and authorities in case of emergencies or breaches. Ensure employee housing meets safety standards, including proper locks, fire safety measures, and secure entry points. Provide security awareness training for employees to help them recognize and respond to security threats. Develop and communicate emergency response plans, including evacuation procedures and assembly points. Establish a crisis management team responsible for handling security incidents and emergencies. Conduct routine security audits and assessments to identify weaknesses and implement improvements. Ensure suppliers and contractors working on-site adhere to security protocols. To better prepare for the Taqdeer Award submission and assessment, companies shall also try to keep in mind the key elements that the assessors might look for in each subcriteria element. For this subcriteria element, assessors might be looking for: implemented proactive safety and security measures, access control measures, security cameras and monitoring systems, security guards, personnel, and security services, etc. Assessors might ask many questions like: how do you take proactive security measures to prevent accidents, theft, and vandalism? Which types of access control measures are implemented to restrict entry to authorized personnel only? How long do you maintain the CCTV recording? And who has access to the security camera and recording? How do you handle security incidents and emergencies? Depending on the industry, your corporate strategy, and business priorities, each company may adopt unique policies, systems, and business practices to address this focus area. Therefore, you should choose the most relevant documented evidence to support your award submission.